We're all tired of the lies coming from the liberal media, and it seems that Anna Kasparian over at the Young Turks, YouTube's biggest news channel, is sick of them too, particularly the ones coming from her co-host, Chunk Uger.
When I saw the media acting like, oh yeah, ha, 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 it's over. Oh, Cenk, you're just being conspiratorial. No, Donald Trump believes in America. No, he's not gonna go that far. No, I know and you don't, and I was right and they were wrong. So
which media?
Okay, you
Which
think
media?
The media that
Cenk,
is now.
I watch the media all day. Literally,
okay,
the moment I wake up, 5 in the morning, I'm up. And I'm watching the news nonstop until I'm on air for this show. So I want to know who you're talking about because clearly I'm missing it. All I hear 24/7 is like anti-Trump stuff, fear-mongering about Trump, okay? Like just the opposite of what you're referring to.
That was more than just coworkers disagreeing with each other. There's definitely something going on behind the scenes over there. Not that she's taken the red pill or joined the Trump train or anything, but I'm sure that there's only so much of Chunk's BS that a person could take. By the way, subscribe to my channel if you're new here, if you just found me, because if you did, it's a miracle the way that the algorithms bury independent content and artificially boost mainstream content. So subscribe and check back here on a regular basis and the fun will continue.
You've got an incredible sense of perspective. Why? What are you telling yourself? What do you have inside you want people to know?
Well, Fredo, I have a bachelor's degree in communication, and when I was younger, I saw so many lies coming from the mainstream media that I felt it was my duty to start a YouTube channel and systematically debunk them instead of selling my soul and becoming part of the problem. And here I am all these years later, and now I have more viewers than you. Thanks for asking.
That sucks.
And speaking of media manipulation, Senator Rand Paul is asking questions about the election that you're not supposed to ask. And when conservatives are posting the video on Twitter, they're fact-checking it. Like when One American News' Jack Posobiec posted a clip. But when an activist from Media Matters posts the same clip denouncing Rand Paul for asking those questions, then of course there's no fact check at all. So it's not that they're using AI or a content ID system in order to identify certain clips and then flag them once they're going viral. They have a team of moderators, obviously, that are watching popular conservative accounts and then flagging our posts if we post some wrongthink. Oh, and speaking of the all-knowing fact-checkers, I have an update for you about that Twilight Zone meme on Facebook that became a meme within a meme within a meme when they fact-checked the meme and then they would fact-check a screenshot of the meme with the fact-check and then they would fact-check that and on and on and on. Facebook got so humiliated by the endless feedback loop of pointless fact-checks that they decided to stop. And the last I checked, they had removed the fact-checks from the meme. And speaking of the fact-checkers, in case you missed it, Candace Owens is suing the fact-checkers because when a page gets a certain amount of fact-checks, then it's automatically demonetized. So she's suing them for causing that to happen on her page, and she's already received one retraction. And when I first reported that, and then I showed some of the ridiculous fact checks that Facebook put on my page, I mentioned that it might be time for a class action lawsuit, but Facebook was also anticipating that, and so they literally updated their terms of service after Candace Owens sued them, saying that you can't participate in a class action lawsuit against any of their affiliates, meaning the fact checkers. You know how these social media companies can just update their terms of service at will, and then when you use it the next time, you're just automatically consenting to it. So they saw that there was a gigantic can of worms that Candace Owens had opened, and so they did their best to try to stop it. And now Mark Zuckerberg's being accused of improper campaign contributions because he donated hundreds of millions of dollars to help get out the vote, which of course was diverted to specific organizations in specific Democrat districts to help get out the vote there. And it was 10 years ago now, my how time flies, back in the 2010 midterms, that Facebook did a secret experiment to see if they could help get out the vote by adding a notification on certain people's pages in their newsfeed showing if their friends had went out and voted in order to use the social proof aspect of persuasion to try to convince them to get out and vote as well. It wasn't until a few years later that the details of the secret experiment were revealed, leaked, and it concluded that they could literally shift hundreds of thousands of votes just with those simple notifications. Facebook's sinister activities are pretty well known now, which is why you should use Parler, because they don't manipulate the algorithm, and what people post is what shows up in people's feeds who follow them, and they allow free speech and tell the Democrats amend Section 230 and force social media platforms to remove offensive content, but that's a whole other story. Oh, and by the way, when I posted President Trump's address to the nation about the election shenanigans on my Facebook page, in the first 30 minutes, it showed up in 19 people's news feeds. Out of the 800,000 people that follow my page, 19 people got it in their feed. I don't know if they show detailed analytics like that on personal pages, but on professional pages, I guess you would call a page like mine, there's a whole dashboard with analytics, and 19 people had that shown up in their feed. Nothing shady going on there. In other news, multiple sources are confirming that Eric Swalwell did the hanky-panky with the Chinese spy that worked her way into his inner circle and fundraised for him and placed an intern in his office, and that should have been obvious by his reaction when asked about it.
Do you plan on stepping down from the committee or anything like that? Or resigning from Congress? Can you tell us anything about your relationship with Ms. Fang? Anything in general?
I actually feel sorry for that girl. China must have had to deplete half their gold supply to pay her enough to degrade herself like that. In his defense, he wasn't married at the time, and so privately he's saying that he didn't do anything wrong because he was single and she wasn't able to get any leverage on him, and I'm sure that was the only way that he could get laid. But he is on the House Intelligence Committee. A guy who couldn't sniff out a spy in his own bed is being trusted with classified information. And of course, his Republican colleagues are demanding that he be removed. And it all makes sense now. Everything is projection with the left. The reason he was so concerned about the Trump family being duped by Russian spies is because he was duped by a foreign spy. 99% of the media still refuses to ask old Joe about his ties to China, except for Stephen Colbert, who teed one up for old Joe, hoping to have him knock down those rumors.
Well, look, it's used to get to me. I think it's kind of foul play, but look, it is what it is. And
oh, I bet there was foul play. I've heard about what's on your son's laptop, sir, and you should be ashamed of him. That's not a joke. Something else that's not funny, since we're on the subject, is, well, Stephen Colbert. He is to comedy what Jake Paul is to music.
How am I 23, sitting on 23? I feel like Jordan, I'm back in my prime.
If you don't know who Jake Paul is, you're better off that way. I only know because I see him trending on Twitter once in a while for being a moron, and he's one of the most popular YouTubers amongst the kids, which speaks volumes about the idiocracy that we're living in. Thankfully, Christmas is next week and the news cycle's gonna slow down because I, for one, could use a break from the liberal media after this year, and usually I watch CNN so that you don't have to, but there's only so much a man can take. And speaking of Christmas, for you slackers out there, this is your last chance to order any of my shirts from markdice.com and get them in time for Christmas. But you have to pay for rush shipping, which is the price you pay for waiting until the last minute. If you order them this weekend, you can get them, and maybe Monday. And after that, it's too late. And if you're okay with your shirts arriving after Christmas, you can get free shipping on anything that you order this weekend through Monday, but they just won't arrive until after Christmas. So if you want to bring Trump claws with you to the in-laws' house, or give somebody on your list a Liberalism Find a Care shirt that contains facts and opinions some may find offensive shirt, or any of my awesome designs, better head on over to markdice.com or click the link in the description below and check them out.